Hello, everybody.
All right. Hey guys, thank y'all for coming. Today I'm going to talk about concussions in youth athletes, particularly youth football, like Pop Warner football, which is like a major organization throughout the country. I'm going to assume that we all played sports as young kids. Brandon and I played football as young kids, and one thing that we were taught was, hit with your head, or whoever could hit the hardest was the best. And as players, even now, you're told that the most physical player is the best player. And but new research is coming to light and showing that hits to the head are far more common in youth athletes than we once thought they were, and they're actually comparable to high school and college and professional levels. And so the biggest thing here and the biggest role that those hits are taking place in is in practice, and that's the greatest concern. A recent study from Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, taking place in Virginia, was a study of 120 or so athletes ages 7 to 18, and it showed that actually 60% of the hits to the head took place during practice, as opposed to games which in football, it's one game only, maybe two in youth football. And so, since practice is becoming, or is the biggest thing, how can we address this issue without changing the game of football? It is what it is, and we can already see the rule changes in professional football. There's these targeting rules, and concussions are a big concern. And so coaches, parents, and players are more aware and need to take steps to regulate practices without changing the game like this. One thing that we do here at ACU is we actually have helmet covers. And as the season has gone on and practices aren't as physical as they used to be, we've taken them off, but there was about 5 or 6 players who are constantly hitting or are known for hitting hard who had to wear, an inch-and-a-half thick cover on their helmet. And I can't remember exactly what they're called, but these helmets are supposed to reduce concussions by up to 70%. And so that's a big deal. They look kind of goofy, but they do help. And a big thing that could also, a step that we could also take in practice is repetition, especially on D-line and O-line. D-linemen and offensive linemen, they have head-to-head contact almost every play. They're running into each other, and it's that repetition of head-to-head contact that is the main concern, instead of just one big hit every once in a while. But over and over again, eventually you reach a breaking point. And so, and just to reiterate on that and what I said earlier about youth football, I remember whenever my dad was my coach back in the day, and I would hit somebody, or at the end of the practice, I would say, "Dad, I feel funny." And he would just say, "Son, that's a football buzz. Doesn't it feel good?" And I would say, "Yeah, because I thought that was cool. My dad was a coach, and that was the cool thing to do." So, in conclusion, just, hits to the head and youth athletes are far more common than we thought they were. They're comparable to older athletes, which is kind of a scary thought. Practice is where they're all taking place, and so now it's time to take those steps and trying to prevent hits like that from occurring. And I know it's nothing new to y'all. I'm sure, as we grew up playing sports, Teddy had a concussion as a young kid and hasn't been able to play contact sports growing up. I know that's hard, man. And so it's reality in all of our lives. And so what we all need to take away from this is unless we're going to be future coaches or parents or whatever we may do, we need to be aware of the risk that we're taking, instead of saying whoever hits the hardest is the coolest thing to do. Teach young kids to practice safely while still getting better. And just to end it, I want to talk about my dad. My dad is one of the wisest people in my life. I look up to him. I love the guy, but his short-term memory is squat. It's not very good. And he's had 8 concussions in his life, and 3 of those are from football. And he'll even tell you himself that it's the concussions that have caused him to be the way that he is. And so he has to write things down. He's always got little notes around the house, just like reminding him to do things, and he always puts his keys in the same place. So it's almost a handicap in his own life. So it's alive in our own lives. Guys, I thank y'all for coming. I hope y'all can have some good takeaway from this. Thank you very much.